Hi everyone, this is Nilanjana ma'am, and I welcome you to my class today. And today I'll be doing a prose piece, that is Our Runaway Kite, written by Lucy Maud Montgomery, who is a Canadian writer. So this story, that is, Our Runaway Kite, is actually centering around the theme of the value of relationships in our lives. So, friends, tell me one thing. So, when we are at home and we are quite away from our loved ones, from our extended family members, or from our relatives, so how do we generally communicate with them? So, well, in today's times, thanks to the internet, we can communicate with them very soon, just with a smartphone and with a text message or a WhatsApp message or a message on the messenger, or finally we have a phone call. Definitely we can call our friends and relatives, and we can keep in touch. We can yes, we can maintain all the relationships like that. But previously, when there was no net connections, when there was no WhatsApp, when there was no phone, the smartphone, how would people communicate with each other? So definitely they would write letters, short or long, but letter writing was quite in fashion in those days, and that is how they could, they could preserve their relationships, or the long distance friendships or relationships. So today we are going to read about how a simple paper kite, a kite, just a normal kite which kids fly in the air. So how a kite is able to revive a lost friendship or relationship between two families, between a brother and a sister. So that way it's really very nice, it's very sweet, a story. So let us start. Of course there was nobody for us to play with on the big half moon. We just had to make the most of each other, and we did. So here the narrator is actually a little girl. She is called Phillippa Leete, and she lives on the big half moon island with her father and her brother Claude. So in the very first, in the very first lines, she makes it very clear that though we were only the two children, we lived on the island with our father, but we made the most of that situation because we never complained. We had quite fun, and we played different types of games, and we kept each other busy together. These two siblings on that island. We live on the big half moon island. We, she says, we are father and Claude, and I and Aunt Esther and Mimi and Dick. So it's like a child's way of saying, using and so many times, like father and Claude and I and it goes on. So, and then she tells us it used to be only father and Claude and I, but now six of them are living together. So now it's a very happy unit with six happy members. But at one point of time, only three people lived on the island, and that was father, Philippa, our storyteller, and her brother Claude. It is all on account of the kite that there are more of us. This is what I want to tell you all about. So, again, she tells us that how a kite is able to rekindle or revive that lost relationship. Father is the keeper of the big half moon lighthouse. I am 11 years old, Claude is 12, and then she goes on to tell us how in winter, when the island was frozen all over, they would shift to the mainland, and again during spring, after the ice melted and after the weather was quite warm, they returned back to the island. And then she tells us that her father's occupation was that of a caretaker. He was the keeper of the lighthouse. And then their ages: Claude was 12 and Philippa is just 1 year younger. Next, she tells us how, well, there was a funny part to it, because when they moved to the island, to the mainland, when they moved to the mainland, people on the mainland would be empathizing with them, telling them, well, yes, I mean, you, both of you children must be very lonesome on the island. Lonesome meaning very lonely. You all must be feeling very lonely because there are no other children to play with you all. So how do you like pass your time and all that? So you know how people can be so curious sometimes. So but she keeps telling us again and again that it was not the case. Definitely, when they played games like pirate caves and all that, running around in pirate caves. So then we sometimes felt that yes, if we had more members or more children to this game, then we could we could have had a lot of more fun. But then one plus point was it that Philippa and Claude, these two children, they never quarreled between each other. But sometimes it happened that on the mainland, they would pick up these quarrels. I mean, the quarrels that the children have sometimes while playing games. But as these two were brothers, I mean, brother sister, as these two were siblings belonging to the same family, they like never had quarrels and they had this good understanding. So that she said was a plus point. And then the last paragraph of this unit, she tells us how sometimes these two siblings, Philippa and Claude, sometimes they would discuss among themselves how or why was their father having no relations except us? Why was it that they were only a three-member family and there were nobody else in their family at all? So this used to puzzle them, and one day they collected up courage and they asked their father about it. But when they asked this question, when they put this question to their father looked so sad and looked so sorrowful. He was quite hurt because maybe he was remembering all the past incidents and the memories, and then he very honestly accepted and told that he said it was all his fault. He just gave them a very to the point short answer, and that was, it was all my fault, meaning it was all because of me that my relationships got disturbed or got destroyed. And Claude and I didn't understand what that meant at that point of time. They didn't understand what it meant because they were children, they were quite immature. But later on, maybe things got clarified. So I finish off the first unit with you all. I'll see you very soon with the second unit.